Welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast, presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. Eric McLean, it's a code blue. It is a code blue, which we have
Yep.
learned this season, even for me, is worse than code red, because we have been just on the ledge this whole season that we've learned different codes and all
Yeah.
that. We have a Virginia Duke ACC title game, something that you warned us about a month ago, and I said, "Mac, it's not gonna happen. It's never gonna
Yeah.
happen. Some teams are gonna handle their business. SMU's not gonna go lose to Cal in the most absurd way possible after dominating the fourth quarter, but also not showing up for the first 3." But Mac, it did happen. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, great to see you.
Hi.
Yeah, it's chaos right now. It really is. And we were going back and forth like how to even start this episode because there's obviously a great rivalry weekend and some
Yes.
fun things that happened and some great ball. And now here we are in this most particular situation known to man. And it's such an ACC thing. Like it's so
Yes.
typical for this league executives, whatever, teams, everybody involved for this to be the ACC championship. And so it's so weird because it's so delicate. It's so strange. Like even to talk about this thing is such a weird thing. And so I will start by this. Congratulations, Virginia, on earning it, winning it on the field, beating a rival that you've beaten once out of the last 20 times to get this done, to clinch. For my guy, Coach E, so happy for him. And for us to be there, that was a really cool moment, selfishly for me, to be there and to see that. And, I stayed for the whole game and went in at halftime and went in with him after the game. And, Chandler came up and gave me a big hug, which was super
Awesome.
cool. And just there's so many Clemson people there, just from that I either played with or that were on the staff with us. While we were there with Coach E and just all these things. So that was really, really, really cool. And just to be a part of that was amazing. And for them to clinch. And then to be in traffic on the way home and to be watching this SMU debacle where all you have to do is beat a team that just fired their
Ugh.
coach, that just got aired out by their rival. That's all you have to do. And you're back in it and you're clinching and they can't. And, for a Duke team to clinch somehow, some way. And this is where I think it gets really weird because, people have heard me and heard me say things, obviously, kind of jokingly, a little bit of seriousness to them. But overarching, like when I'm saying things, for the most part, it's about the betterment of the league and the best thing to happen for the ACC. Like I just feel like that's the position that I'm in right now, kind of with this whole thing. And the fact that we have a 5-way tie at the 2 spot and somehow, some way um, clinching scenario or the tiebreaker scenario that the ACC Brain Trust came up with equaled and output the team with the worst resume and the most losses in that 5-way tie is just crazy to me. So I want to say this. I am not mad at Duke. Like they're just winning. It's a football team. You want to win. You want to do your thing. I'm not mad at
Well,
Duke.
they win sometimes.
That's right. But I'm mad at the process of this and how we are where we are. And, at a time where it seems like perception is the most important thing
Yep.
for us to be able to conjure up, we have a rematch where a team got aired out and dominated, first of all, and that same team that lost to Tulane and lost to UConn. Like, it's so bizarre how this is happening. And those are not ACC games. And listen, it's I don't know. It's just a hard
Mm.
position that we're in. And, I remember back years ago where we weren't at the network yet. We weren't there yet. And Clemson in 2018 played a 6-6 Pittsburgh team in the ACC championship. And I'm looking at this like this is the most embarrassing thing ever because I grew up in this conference. Like I've always cared about the ACC. And I'm just like, this sucks. Like, look at all these other games that are around, and this is it. Like, this is the championship game, a 6-6 team, versus a Clemson team that obviously went on to be undefeated and win a national championship. So I thought when we move and shaked all these things around, that this would never happen again, to where this game would, not be a high stakes, really impressive looking game. And yet here we are at the most impactful time possible to try to get multiple bids into this college football playoff. And the reality of code blue is that we might not get any. And
Mm,
so that's where the frustrations rise. It's not with any fan base, it's not with any team, it's not with any player, coach, anything of that nature. It's just the betterment of the league
right.
is in jeopardy right now. And the talking points and like at the end of the day, I'm one of the faces of this thing going on in TV and talking and trying to boost it up. And it's like self-sabotage for the league to do this. And so if you hear some heightened frustration, that's why. Just to lay all that out there, kind of where we're starting, KG.
Mac, it's well said. And you have a hard job.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree there. Now, it is the most ACC thing ever that you set up these tiebreakers thinking, and, on paper, it seems like a fair enough way to decide it when you have 3 or more teams tied, which the ACC has 4. Mind you, it's also the most ACC thing ever that Virginia actually has 2 losses to ACC teams, but only one of them
Right.
counts, which is just
Well, could
hilarious,
you
right?
imagine that? Could you imagine if it
Yeah,
was a
then it'd be a
6-way tie
five-way.
for first? You
Yeah, or
got 5
that.
now.
Yes,
You've got
exactly.
Duke, Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, Miami, SMU, all with 2 ACC losses.
Yeah, it would, and that's again, like, there are so many negatives to divisions. You bring up the 2018 game. I mean, it was just all the years where it
Yeah.
probably should have been Clemson, Florida State playing in the ACC title, which we've never had, and it was Clemson or Florida State versus whoever won the Coastal. But, I guess there was some benefit to that because I don't know, it wasn't this, right?
Right.
So the head to head, I've seen a lot of fans being like, "What the head to head? Georgia Tech beat Duke, whatever." Per the ACC rules, the head-to-head only is the first tiebreaker if it's a 2-team tie. So because we have 4 teams tied, which is the 3 or more, then it goes to combined head-to-head win percentage among the tied teams if all tied teams are common opponents. So Duke secured this spot by having a higher conference opponent winning percentage than Miami, SMU, Pitt, Georgia Tech. What? I mean, that's just a crazy way to decide this. I think personally, and I know you brought up kind of the devil's advocate here, but I feel like the ACC's gotta go amend this now because you can't let this happen again, and it had to be because it's all about not just perception, Mac. We're talking perception equals reality. Perception in some ways equals survival right now.
Mhm.
Like, we're not just saying the betterment of the league. We're talking survival. Like, if you're left out of a playoff, who knows if that could happen again, and then who knows what happens there as we keep going down the slippery slope. I think you've gotta change it to 3 or more team tie, the highest team in the CFP rankings gets the nod. Now, that could backfire at some point if you have a team that is number 5 or whatever, like you said, like you told us, Mac, off air, and they have to play. But then you'd have a Virginia-Miami ACC championship game with maybe a chance for Miami to win and secure a bid, because right now they're on the outside looking in. Who knows if they're going to get in? And Virginia, of course, with a chance to win and secure a bid. So at least you're not completely left out if that were to
Yeah.
happen.
No, it's such a fascinating thing. And I will say all this too, kind of as we lay all these things out here, and we're going to continue to talk about these and maybe make the best situation that we think would work.
Mm.
Virginia could win by 20 points. Miami could be in, and we have 2 teams in, and all of this is a waste of time. And all of this is for naught. That could
It's
happen.
possible.
But it also could happen that there's not a team. So it's kind of
Right.
like, there's clearly a problem. There's an issue, with this, selection tiebreaker process. And so that's why we have a quarrel with it. And again, not alienating Duke. It's just is what it is. You
Right.
lost to Tulane. You lost to UConn. Sorry. Play better then. You had Illinois on the
Please.
ropes at home. There's some other things here. And again, none of those are conference games. So if you're confused why I'm bringing it up, it is perception games. It is games that make us as a conference look bad. And there's plenty others, but you're in the championship game. So that's why you're in the
Yeah.
spotlight. I think you bring up the highest rated in the college football playoff thing. And if there's a tie, they should be in. Well, the devil's advocate, as you were pointing out before we were talking before, is that team is already in the college football playoff potentially. Like, let's say Miami right now would be
Potentially.
6th or Miami was 8. If they're the highest rated 2-loss team, which you could argue they should be when you see some of these other teams and how they play. Oklahoma, no offense, great defense, elite defense, almost lost to LSU, who's on life support. A Alabama team that had to have a last-second fumble to secure the game over Auburn. A Georgia team that, was a 1-score game with Georgia Tech. All these different
70
things.
passing
Like, there's
yards.
chaos. There's Texas A&M lost. There's all these chaotic things that happen. So let's say Miami is number 8 right now. and at this point, as we live in this reality, does not have to play in an ACC championship, and Duke is in that ACC champion. They don't want to play that extra game. They
Sure.
would much rather be sitting at home watching them figure it out and have this nice little breezy walk, to the college football playoff. So there is the ebbs and flows, but let's say Miami was eliminated, and we have a team that's on the brink, and let's say Georgia Tech is maybe 20th, right around where some of those G5 teams are. If they were in fighting and they were to beat Virginia, who is ranked higher than those G5 teams right now, maybe they would get a boost and they would be in the college football playoff. The only reason that this is such an issue is because if Duke wins, again, for the third time, I'm sorry to keep saying it, if Duke is to win, that is not a good situation. They will not be in the college football playoff. They will not be ahead of a Sun Belt champion or of an American champion the way that it is right now today. And so that's again the quarrel. That is not good for the ACC. And so that stinks because I love Duke. I love Manny Diaz. I love David Feely. I love those players. And it's like we're in a weird position right now because, like, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to cheer against them. I mean, yeah, and pull for Virginia. Like, that's not a fun place to be, at all.
But the answer is
And
yeah.
it feels like that's where, if you're an ACC fan, if you're an ACC whatever, feels like where you have to be. Just again this is a multi-million dollar
Right.
decision.
It's
This is
we're
a
talking
multi-million dollar outcome.
survival, Mac.
You
We're
are,
talking survival.
you are.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
sucks. I hate it. So I think I think head to head, shouldn't matter if there's a, big tie like we have here. So you kind of look at this grouping. Okay. Duke lost to Georgia Tech. They're out. Georgia Tech lost to Pitt. They're out. Miami lost to Pitt. They're out. Or excuse me, Pitt lost to Miami. They're out. SMU somehow is sitting here and
because
didn't
that's when
lose
you
to
beat
any of those
Miami.
teams. So maybe SMU should just be in, and they beat Miami. So it's this weird, it's this weird thing in a roundabout way where if you just did head to head on the field, SMU is the only team that has beaten one of these tie teams and
Right.
didn't lose to one of these tie teams. So it's a really weird, kind of convoluted thing, but that is actual things that you control on the field. If you don't want to go the highest rated, and if nobody had played each other, then maybe you go to that as a third tier where maybe it's a little bit less of a sting because it just is what it is. Somebody's got to play, in this game, and you get to that.
Mm,
But, going to the thing that decided this is something that these teams on the field had zero control over. I can't control what my
yeah.
opponent does after I beat
Right.
you. I can't
Right.
control what my opponent does at all. And so that's why, to me, it is really, really frustrating. And I would strongly encourage a reevaluation now. Like today, I hope that there's people working on this and figuring out what's a better solution, because moving forward, this cannot be it. This cannot be the outcome that you desire. And so we'll see. We'll see who all watches. We'll see the numbers. There will be real live repercussions for this game and consequences and or benefits. So we'll kind of judge that after we kind of know the full story.
I agree, Mac. Well, speaking from a ratings perspective too, I will say that's not all on the ACC because you talk about these brands that have rosters worth much more money than, for example, Duke's roster, even though, Duke's paid some money. They didn't handle their business. Clemson and
Mhm.
Florida State, nowhere to be found.
For sure.
Miami still lost 2 games. So
Yeah.
some of that the ACC can't control. But the bottom line too, Mac, I think this shows us we should not have 17-team conferences.
That's
Like,
right. That's Coach Jimbo Fisher's biggest thing.
come
You can't play
on.
each other. You can't
That is
settle it
just
on the
stupid.
field.
That
Yeah,
is just stupid.
chaos.
And then
Yeah.
it's really hard because you only play 8 games.
Yeah.
Like in basketball, we have these huge leagues, but everyone plays each other. So
Right.
you have head-to-heads. You don't have these crazy tiebreakers. So it's a mess, Mac. It's a mess. But we do have to talk about these games. It was a very entertaining rivalry weekend. ACC going 2-2 against the SEC. We'll talk about that. And Mac, I have to tell you as well, I have been on my crock pot grind,
Ooh,
as I always am. The leftover ham from Thanksgiving going in some split piece soup
come
right
on.
now, which is going to be banging. Ingredients from Ingles. And my cornbread stuffing,
It
I,
looked
ki-
great. It
I
looked
killed
great.
it. And I know you killed it because that was the biggest turkey I've ever seen in my life.
It was a ton of fun. Listen, we had about 37, 38 people at the house.
Then you need a
It
big
was
turkey.
unreal. Had a 30-pound turkey, the biggest turkey I've ever seen in my life. So big shout out to Ingles for supplying that and just making sure we were ready to go. And you're right. Now it's the leftover season. Like we're a couple
Oh,
days out. I mean, maybe you got a couple more days that you can stretch some of that stuff.
yeah.
Obviously you want to go to Ingles and enhance all of those different things. So let's get to a message from our friends. And then let's dive into this weekend. Cause you're right. Overall, I was a little negative. I don't like the headspace we're in. Let's get to the positive. Let's talk about these great games.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA choice and prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Okay, Mac, let's get into these games because as much as we need to talk about all that's gone wrong, there was some football that was played, and a lot of it was actually very entertaining. This game maybe not as entertaining. Number 4 Georgia beats number 23 Georgia Tech 16-9. Georgia Tech covers. I mean, we talked about
Yeah.
that. We knew Georgia Tech would cover. They were going to keep this game close. The defense really stepped up. That was like, Mac, where has this defense been? You held Georgia to 70 passing yards. Georgia just didn't look comfortable all night. They ran the ball pretty well. On the flip side, of course, Georgia Tech could not run the ball at all, which I'm sure that, that was Georgia's plan. Hey, take away the run, make Haynes King beat you with his arm, and he really couldn't. Red zone issues again for Georgia Tech, but this is just not how I had this game going, Mac.
No, it was bizarre. I thought the offenses just because how well Georgia's offense had been playing, and how bad Georgia Tech's defense had been playing. And Georgia's defense isn't world beaters. I mean, obviously they played very well in this game, against these guys, but all season long, it's not like you're afraid like typically maybe you would be, even especially last year. I mean, a bunch of draft picks, a bunch of first rounders over there. I don't necessarily think they have that right now on that team. And so you thought it'd be a shootout. It'd be, just like last year, a lot
Yeah.
of points and two quarterbacks who are fighting for their lives for, to be in New York and to be Heisman Trophy, winners or finalists. And both these guys, were, kind of on their way and they both kind of fell flat. And, just the old fashioned game. And still, I mean, Haynes King to have, 200 whatever all purpose yards, but he's used to having 500. I mean, it's literally half of what he does. Gunnar Stockton, just really couldn't throw the ball well at all. Couldn't really run it very well either. I mean, ran for 40 yards, but they pretty much had a plan in place and bottled him up. And so, I think the again, it's like the theme of this year, teams when they need it, we don't really get it. And when it doesn't, quite matter, we see this Herculean effort from a Georgia defense and just out of nowhere, Georgia Tech defense, excuse me, that just played really well. Got to the backfield. I mean, had a bunch of tackles for loss. Had more sacks than Georgia. Which is interesting. Hadn't really seen that all year consistently from this Georgia Tech team, but just thought that they played well. Thought that they got to the ball really quickly, and even the end of game. I mean, when you needed it most, had to have it. They put together a really nice drive, and I mean that catch on the sideline and the
Yes, that was crazy.
understanding and awareness there from Isaiah Canyon was sick. Just to stretch out, try to get to the sideline, and then you have a chance. And they threw a bomb to the end zone, and unfortunately Georgia smacked it down, did a really good job there. Um, you know, Successful season for Georgia Tech, really impressive, growing. Just to get to 9 wins, the best season they've had in a long time.
Right.
Best start they've had in like 80 years, 40 or 60 years, excuse me. Really, really impressed from them, and they're close. They're close. This game just keeps getting closer and closer. And the consistency that we see from them. I did think it was interesting just to touch on Georgia for a second. I know probably some people don't care. The fact that they didn't run the ball 60 times was weird to me. I mean, they,
Yeah.
they just were killing Georgia Tech in the first half running the football. And it was like they tried to outsmart themselves and went away from it. And maybe Georgia Tech flexed a little bit and stopped it. But it was a great effort all the way around. So kudos to Georgia Tech and, just coming up a little bit short here and interesting to see how they continue to build. Now, one thing to monitor, is just Brent Key getting this extension here and them getting done. Now, other jobs have been taken, so there's probably a little bit less leverage every day as these things shake out, with Florida and Auburn kind of making some decisions there.
Mhm.
So, you still want to see a guy compensated for what he's doing. Would just like to see them get that done, though.
Yeah. Well, and as other jobs get filled, other jobs do open.
A lot of
So
them G5 though, so you're
yeah,
kinda good there. You're kinda
the
good there.
one that comes to mind is, perhaps Ole Miss, I guess. We'll
He's
see
going to
what
Ole Miss.
happens
Forget
there. No,
dumpster fire.
I wouldn't imagine he would, but like you said, it would be comforting for that to get done. Mac, this is just I felt like this game was college football in a nutshell because how on earth, if you're Georgia Tech, do you go up to Boston College and give up, what, 34 points, and then you hold Georgia to 16? It just doesn't make sense.
It
It
doesn't.
does not make sense. Your defense did enough for once, like all year.
Yeah.
And then your offense couldn't do enough. And as much as we love Haynes King, legend, one of the greatest players to ever play at Georgia Tech, no doubt about it.
Mhm.
It will be interesting if this offense can maybe be a bit more balanced next year in
Mhm.
terms of throwing the ball with an Aaron Philo
Oh,
if
yeah.
he's there.
Yeah.
Uh,
That'll
and
be
this defense, if that can be a real step in the right direction
right.
under Blake Gideon, if they can win their bowl game, which we may see, some of that in the bowl game, 10
Mhm.
win season heading into next year. I
Yeah.
know there's some disappointment for Georgia Tech, and I get it, but if you look from a 20,000-foot view, like this was a really good step in the right direction.
No, it absolutely was, and you're right. About Aaron Philo, I'm very excited about that. And again, this is assuming that he's going to be there. I mean, they compensated
Let's
him
hope.
well enough to stay. And again, kind of 2 seasons sitting. Now it's his show, and just to see how different it is because he is not Haynes King, and Haynes King is not him. So
Right.
there's going to be a lot more throwing, I would assume, in this offense, and how attractive is that for others that maybe are leaving or want to come,
Mm.
from a wide receiver position, running back position, things of that nature. So yeah, you're right. Big things ahead of Georgia Tech, and just very excited to see how they continue to build and losing some key guys and moving on. But that's what everybody does every year, and so continuing to see how they build will be really fun to see.
All right, Mac. Miami handled their business. Number 12, Miami beats Pitt 38-7. Started off slow,
Mhm.
little slow, not as quick of a start as, for example, Notre Dame had against Pitt, but I still think as dominant, maybe a bit more dominant,
Yeah, it was
at
more
least
bigger margin of victory.
when you look at the score. Yeah, I thought it was methodical and dominant was kind of what I wrote down about Miami.
Yep.
And Malachi Toney, 13 catches for 126 and a touchdown. Some absolutely freaky plays. He also threw a touchdown.
Yep.
Carson Beck looked really, really good. And Miami held Pitt to 30 rushing yards. It was a really good
Mhm.
performance.
Yeah, after they just had a season high rushing the week
Yes.
before,
Again, this
literally
what
just
makes no
happened.
sense.
Yeah, it's crazy. And listen, we were interested to see how this game would go, just because of what Pitt looked like the week before. Miami has been steady Eddie. I mean, since their lost to SMU, they've been blowing people out by 28 plus points. I mean, they've just been killing guys. And so, to see, is that real? Can they do that against a team that has a number beside their name? And the answer was a resounding yes. And I thought Carson Beck was super efficient. I mean, that guy's just he's fun to watch and really did great. But as you mentioned, Malachi Toney, I mean, not just one of the best freshmen, because I think he is the best freshman in college football right now, but one of the best wide receivers. I mean, this guy
Yeah.
is as reliable as it gets, and he's a handful of catches away from the most catches in a single season ever at Miami. I mean, that is crazy to think about. He's going to get that, whether it's in the playoff or a bowl game. That's insane. To see that from a guy like this and the foundation that is. And again, you talk about somebody wanting to play with. I mean, who wouldn't want to throw the ball to that guy? As we know, Carson Beck will move on. So, some interesting things, to watch for with Miami. And I, I don't want to say this definitively because who knows what this crazy committee is going to do. I don't see how they're not in the college football playoff. I mean,
Yep.
there's so many data points that have just closed this gap, which maybe should not even existed. I know time of losses and wins actually do matter, despite what the CFP committee wants to try to tell us. But they did beat them head to head, and they've played enough common opponents now where I'm just like, they're playing just as well, if not better, and they already beat them. So, yeah, for people that say, "Well, Notre Dame, Miami wouldn't want to see Notre," why wouldn't they? Of course they would.
They
They
already
would
beat
love
him.
that. They would love that. They're not afraid of that. And so, I think Miami's in. Listen, Alabama's maybe going to lose in the SEC championship. If they win, that makes it awkward.
Yeah.
BYU's probably going to lose in their championship. If they win, that makes it awkward. But if both of those guys lose, and maybe even if they win, I just If they win, it makes it really tough. But I don't see how Miami will be left out of this invitational. I really don't.
Well, and you're definitely rooting for Georgia. You're definitely rooting for Texas Tech, if you're a Miami fan. I think A&M losing helps too because
Takes away
A&M
from
beat
Notre
Notre
Dame.
Dame.
Yeah.
If A&M would have gone under the SC title and maybe won it, then that makes it tough. And A&M
A
has
team
looked
they lost to, by the way. They
right. They
lost.
didn't
They
even
didn't
beat
beat
them.
A&M.
But A&M has looked stinky the
I
last
know.
couple weeks. That South Carolina team, you were down 33 to that South Carolina team,
I know. Brutal.
and you lost to Texas. So,
Yeah.
Texas that struggled with a really scrappy Kentucky team
Oof,
that
super scrappy. Super
Louisville
scrappy.
handled, Mac. But yeah, I'm with you. It's gonna be really interesting to see. But Miami, it's very clear who you're rooting for. Like
Yeah.
obviously, on this championship weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. So they look good, look dominant. I mean, at this point, outside of, again, losing those 2 games, which everybody but 2 teams has lost, which can't wait to see that. It's like the weirdest, most anticipated, not anticipated matchup in the Big Ten championship with Ohio State and Indiana right now,
They're
but
both
2
gonna be in.
undefeateds there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. But it's hard. It's hard to do, and they've done everything that they could. I mean, blowing teams out, looking super sharp, playing complementary football. There's nothing else you could do, Miami, as of right now. So unfortunately, you're going to sit back and hopefully enjoy conference champion weekend, and we'll see what happens on this next Sunday.
Can I throw out a crazy thought I just had?
Please.
Let's say Miami didn't lose to SMU, all right? And everything else is the same. So then Miami would be in the ACC title game against Virginia. The ACC would be guaranteed one team, but would only be getting one team.
Right.
And now you have this, where if Virginia wins, which all they got to do is beat Duke, which they already did, they're in. And then Miami possibly getting in. You could have 2. It's almost like, hey, was there some silver lining in Miami losing twice?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll
It's
see.
kind of it's in the ACC would probably sit back and kind of be like if a program were to have one of their worst seasons and then somehow they stumble into 8 wins and then they don't make any changes. They're like, well, see, it works. We told you. It would kind of be like that. So hopefully we don't see either one of those things happen. We'll see.
Interesting. I wonder who you could be talking about, Mac. Okay, let's get to Virginia here. Virginia handles Virginia Tech
Yeah, that was fun to watch.
27-7. Virginia gets its second win in the last 21 meetings in this rivalry. But what matters is right now, and they dominate. They held Virginia Tech to under 200 total yards. Absolutely crazy. Mac, this was the largest crowd at Scott Stadium since 2011, 58,832 people. It looked legit. You were there. And I mean, there's no other way to describe this but domination from Virginia.
And it's unfortunate they couldn't get the shutout too. It's so weird. The touchdown came on like a desperation 4th down, like 4th and 11, and they go 57 yards to the house. And I'm just like, what? That's how we're going to let these guys score? That's crazy. It's crazy. But they did. And, I guess give them credit for not quitting, whatever. But yeah, they got blown out, by these guys. And it was packed. I mean, that environment was fun. That was my, I guess, 3rd time I played there once, in 13 or 14. And then, we came for the Maryland game last year. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay for the Wake Forest game this year. Glad I wasn't. And then this game, seeing this fun. Yeah, right. Fun performance, really fun performance, packed out, wasn't a seat in the house. Senior day. So really emotional kind of start there. To see all my guys was really fun. The chants, the singing, like it was cool. It was cool. Virginia gave me, Coach E and them gave me a, Scott, our guy there, the SID, gave me a cool hoodie with kind of the red, white, and blue sabers because it was freezing. It was freezing.
You're
cold.
always getting the gear, Eric Backlade.
I needed it. It was not just one. It was necessity. I would have died. And that was super cool. It was like the salute to service stuff, kind of the green hoodie with the American flag saber in the middle. Sick, actually. It's one of the coolest things I've ever gotten. And then to see Chan Man just go nuts. We had a sign, KG at the huddle, which great crowd. I was kind of scared. I was kind of scared because it's a holiday. So all the students are gone. It's a 7 whatever kick. I mean, it's 10 hours before. I'm like, nobody's going to be here. This is going to suck. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the first time we were there, again, because the students were all gone. But it was still good. It was still one of our best crowds of the time that we've been doing this. But there was a sign that said enter Chan Man instead of enter Sandman. Really, really funny. And Chandler obviously had a huge day. And just seeing that guy grow up, seeing him in person, kind of for his last home game ever, was neat. And then we'll follow them on to Charlotte. So huge shout out to Virginia clenching and having a chance to keep this magic rolling. And it's so interesting, KG, we were, just doing some stats and numbers and looking at the preseason to where we are now. Virginia had a 0.4 chance, FBI or analytic, whoever, to do this, to get to the ACC championship. And here they are making it happen, getting to that. I mean, it's incredible to see how they've done it, how they keep figuring things out and just rolling.
I feel like nationally we aren't talking about this enough at all. Virginia was picked, 14th in the ACC?
14th.
And we'll see, Lord willing, going to win the league in the ACC championship. I can say more of this, Mac. You have to be a little more politically correct. But it is unbelievable. And I think it shows to other ACC teams, to other teams out there, other examples of this, like in Indiana, whatever. Your history doesn't really matter if you have the money.
That's
if
right.
you have people that have invested in Virginia.
And believe. Like Carla Williams, there was a lot of people screaming at her to fire Tony Elliott. And I'm not saying people of power or prominence. I don't know, like their board or anything. I don't think anybody of that nature. But it was getting a little loud. And, people telling her to get rid of him. And here they are sitting in the ACC championship. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's an incredible.
And he pointed her out. That I'm not going to say too much about being in the locker room and things that he said just because it was really cool. But that was one of the first things that he did say because she was in there and he acknowledged that and thanked her and just thanked her for her belief and what they were doing and getting the necessary things of putting this staff together, putting the resources, the building, the facility. It takes all that to be good. I mean, it's just you don't just walk out there and be a great football team anymore. You got to invest in it.
She's a great example too of just female ADs. I mean, she's incredible.
Powerful woman. No question.
All right, Mac, let's talk about the most ridiculous result of the weekend. Cal beats SMU 38-35.
I didn't know where you were going.
I think this was the most ridiculous result because Duke beating Wake. I mean, that's their fourth straight win over Wake. Okay.
Or Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. I didn't know where you're going.
Kentucky, Louisville, that was a good one. But okay, this game was silly. Yeah. Stop me if you've heard this before. I fell asleep. Mac had to inform me. I always, whenever I fall asleep and there's a consequential game on the West Coast, I wake up to a text from Eric McLean, generally with maybe a few choice words saying, "Oh my God, this happened." Because it's always something crazy. Yeah. And so I had to go back and watch it, Mac. And this game was stupid. I made it to halftime. So I knew SMU was down 17-7.5. I knew they looked terrible. They had no life. Honestly, I didn't expect them to really come back. But they do. Down 31-14. That fourth quarter, they dominated. Matthew Hibner is a problem. I mean, dude was really, really good. They come back. They take the lead, Mac. And you're thinking, okay, they did it. But you know who else was thinking that? SMU. It's like they just said, okay, Cal's going to fold and fall down. And they didn't. Cal, give him all the credit. Sagapulatele was dealing. And in front of 15 people, Cal finds a way, including Bill Armstrong, who was there. And they missed that field goal. That was a classic West Coast after dark, ACC after dark, crazy college football game. And it's really sad. I know you could see it on Rhett Lashley's face. Like, just the opportunity that they squandered with that terrible first half.
Yeah. 2 weeks in a row, we've seen that from teams. Georgia Tech 2 weeks ago and now SMU here. It's super interesting. I do want to provide some comic relief before we jump into this. And maybe it's actually dark humor. It's not comic relief.
That's where we are.
That's where we are. So you and I love Bill Armstrong so much. Very grateful for him, his relationship. Not that he's a mentor, but he does provide. I mean, he's done a lot of things. He's done a lot of life, and he provides some great conversation. Anytime we're together, and I value that a bunch. But you and I are in a very fun group text with him, and we go back and forth a bunch. And it was after Duke had beaten somebody, I can't remember, or maybe before the Virginia Duke something. I can't remember when this was exactly. And he was very excited. And sorry, Bill, if you don't want us to share, I think you don't care. I don't think you care. Call me if you do. We'll edit the episode. But he was so excited about the parity and how great it is that so and so beat so and so beat so and so, and this is awesome. And I said, Bill, it's not great. It's not great. And then he responds back. He's like, "What do you mean? Why? I mean, I love this." And then I lay out Code Blue. The whole situation.
But this was like a month ago.
So
I was more team Bill. I was like, Mac, this is not going to happen.
Right. I'm down in the dumps. I'm sad. And so I lay out Code Blue which is the Blue Devils getting to Charlotte and winning the game. Again, this is a long time ago. And then he responds, "Oh, yeah, that's not good."
That's not good.
And it's ironic that his team is the reason this happened. It's just ironic.
It's not all their fault.
It's not all their
Everybody is to blame. Truly, every ACC team has some sort of blame here. For example, Clemson, if you just found a way to beat Duke at home and not give up 46 points, they wouldn't be the championship game.
We don't call penalties, 40 seconds after play's over. Maybe you beat those guys. I don't know. Neither
Maybe
here nor
God
there.
took a bar
Neither
cake.
here nor
I don't
there.
know.
Sorry, a little bit of dark comic relief there. Love you, Bill. Hope you watch this. But anyway, yeah, it was crazy because it just seemed like all hope was lost.
Yeah.
Everybody, literally everyone in the stadium, I will peel back this curtain, is yelling at me saying, "Are we playing Duke? Are we playing Duke?" And I'm like, "What? Like, what's happening?" Maybe even some members of the UVA staff, not coaches, but were coming over to me like, "Do you see the SMU score?" And I'm like, "No, I'm watching this." And then I pull it up. I'm just like, "Oh my gosh!"
Because of
And I
course
get to
they're
see it.
happy because they just blew out Duke.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's chaos, and then of course I get to watch, the second half, pretty much, every play, and you're just like, oh my gosh, here they go, they're going to do it. SMU's going to make it, specifically in the fourth quarter. They finally got a stop. It was like their first stop of the game is midway through the fourth quarter, and they're just on fire, rolling up and down the field, get a couple stops, get the ball back, march down the field, boom, touchdown. You're just like, whoa, that was sick. All the momentum has shifted away. Cal's done. It's over with. And Cal's like, nah, we're good. We'll march down the field too and score. And Sangapolatele, just freak show. I mean, that dude is so good.
He was really good.
And listen, we said that. I was interested. Okay, SMU's made all this progress, but when they see a dog like this guy, is that progress going to hold up? And the answer was no, it did not. It did not hold up. He threw for 1 billion yards and 4 touchdowns, no picks. Just really impressive. But the end, kind of drive there, because SMU put it together, hit at Matthew Hipner, get some big plays right there, get into field goal position, and they're going, because they're out of or they have one timeout left, and they're going to clock it because there's like 15, 16 seconds left. You can probably get off a play, maybe 2 with the timeout, and they're going to clock it, and the center double pumps. I love you, center. Don't want to call you out, but everyone saw it. I'm not breaking news here. Double pumps, penalty. So you back up, you're out of field goal range, essentially, clearly, and you have to use the timeout. And so the interesting thing that I'm actually fascinated in here is if there's no point. There's no point, I guess. Honestly, you should have taken the 10-second runoff, then it's 5 seconds, and the game's just over. Anyway, miss it or whatever. But it was interesting, and then they line up a 52-yarder, and it just big shank to the right. It's just bad. So, yeah. Shout out Cal. Thanks for the entertainment, I guess.
Thanks, Cal. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Pitt. Thanks, NC State.
Life's
we
good.
love you guys. We love you guys. All right, Mac, let's run. We got to run through it. We've been going for a while here. Let's just get to Clemson, Carolina here for a second.
Come on. Finally.
Clemson
state.
beat South Carolina.
You go ahead and
All
tell
is
me about
right
that.
in the world.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, Mac's going to show us something here.
I just got to change this. Go ahead and tell us.
Yeah. Clemson, I'll tell the story of the game here. Yeah. Clemson beat South Carolina 28-14. Another dominant performance, I would say, by Clemson in this rivalry. Of course, last year was not that dominant, so got some revenge. There we go. We got a tiger. Right, Clemson has not lost in Columbia since 2013. Sorry, Mac.
Long time.
You were on that team, but that's okay. Adam Randall and TJ Moore were great. Antonio Williams was great. And the defense completely stopped South Carolina's rushing attack. 19 carries for 41 yards, held Lenora Sellers in check. It was night and day from last year. Gives, I think, Clemson fans some hope for this defense going forward, because this defense has been an issue. You had, 5 sacks? TJ Parker had 3 of them. South Carolina had 4 turnovers. It was really dominant. I mean, South Carolina had 2 big plays. But beyond that, not much. And that pick 6, of course, sealed it. It's just all is right in the world. Now, not all is right with the program, Matt, because we'll get to that. But it is nice to see this score and to see this win.
Isn't it fascinating? Just a perspective note here, that you can say you're excited about the defense and they gave up almost 400 yards passing.
Well, Mac, I'm just looking for the silver linings in this season.
Isn't that crazy?
But and again, you can't really say this outside of the two big plays, outside of the busts, outside of the play where I literally asked, is that guy trying in the Clemson secondary? Still, a solid performance overall. Much better than we've seen.
Super solid. Lenoris's season high passing yards, super solid. They won the game. Held them to 14 points. Again, my biggest thing was don't let them run, right? Like I just did
Did
not
that.
want to see that. And he had, I'm trying to see he had a 13-yard rush where he was getting it. And he was getting those wheels. Luckily, Wade Woodaz got him, by the hair on his chin. And I was like, I was shaking. Like I was having PTSD when that happened. Cause I was like, oh no. And it was late in the game. When it was a 1-score game, late in the game, and I'm like, oh my God, it's about to happen. Like this dude's just going to take over. And I was shook. And of course, he didn't. And the defense was very opportunistic, stepped up. Ricardo Jones just casually leads the ACC in picks, by the way. Crazy, with 6. Had a pick 6 against these boys. Some great pictures after the fact, by the way. A lot of fans telling him he was number 1. So that was
birds were flying.
Birds were flying. Chickens were flying out of the coop. It's just one of those things. But yeah, huge game. And again, great for Clemson, like a team that had so much expectation on them, so much pressure, so much whatever, and it fell to the wayside quickly. Like the sky fell really, really fast, and they never quit. And there's something to that. And I don't know. Again, is this like the participation trophy award here? Like, I don't know what I'm giving out, but I don't think a lot of programs today have this ability. I don't think they're able to do that. Again, does that matter? Does anyone care? I don't know. It's worth saying. And it is something that's tangible and real. And there's also frustration built in that as well. You see a guy like TJ Parker finally just explode onto the scene.
Last game of the year.
I mean, Wade Woodaz had by far his best day. Thought Sammy Brown was really, really good. TJ Moore has been one of the best receivers, in this conference all year. It's just been getting him the ball. And he showed out, had over 100 yards here. And then Cade, this game was kind of like a summation of his career. Like, this is a guy that his first real game ever, he was the MVP of the ACC championship, beating Carolina handily, having the super low sophomore year where there's a lot of bad things happening, turnovers shooting up out of a rocket into a junior year. And then unfortunately having, this year that they did here, but the play that summed it up was, he pulls it, he's running to the right, fumbles it. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding. And he picks it up and scores. And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, this is just,
that was him. That's him in a nutshell. Yeah.
It's him. He's going to figure it out. He's going to make it happen. And the fit was cool, though. I don't know what your thoughts on the fit were, but the all black coat and the hat, I was like, hell yeah, brother. Let's go. You better win, though, or they're going to blame you. And he did.
The fit was cool. The fit was cool. But, you're still 7-5. But still, a great look. As much as, and this is not true, Mac, because when people say, fans love to say, all that matters is you beat Carolina. Like, no. Obviously, that's not all that matters. There's still a lot that needs to be fixed with this program, but it's much better to fix the program while still having beaten South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hope that happens, Matt.
Just some breaking news. This won't be breaking news when y'all watch. Lane Kiffin officially gone. He's going to LSU.
LSU.
So Ole Miss probably out of the playoff, right? They'll fall. He's taking the whole staff. They're not coaching.
Right.
They're all gone.
Did he break his leg? I mean, he might as well have broken his leg.
Well, it's not the players. It's just no one's going to coach them. No one's going to call them.
No, I understand, but they did lose a key piece to the puzzle.
Multiple key pieces. The whole staff gone. Like, Chambliss is going to have to call the offense himself. Not ideal.
I love how no one's ever talked about how Chambliss came from playing D2 football and then dominated
D2 natty.
Like, shouldn't that be a red flag?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rollback just dropped their licensed game day collection. Polos, hoodies, Q-zips, custom designed for your school. On game days, we wear Rollback, period.
Mac, let's just run through the rest of these games.
Come on.
Duke beats Wake 49-32.
Congrats. ACC champs bound, baby. Let's go.
Love it. Love it. Wake struggles, but still a great year for Wake. Louisville dominates a scrappy Kentucky team that is hard to beat, Mac.
Yeah, they're
hard
scrappy.
to beat.
Louisville should be ranked after this. Let me just apologize to Coach Brom. I guess. I thought y'all were going to get annihilated. Nobody was playing. You had no backs. You had to bring a tight end to play running back. Miller Moss, there's like a weird brawl with Miller Moss. Do y'all like each other or not? I don't know. He played and did okay. I mean, he threw 3 touchdowns, not bad. And the defense wiped out Kentucky. I mean, it was awesome to see. Held these guys to 140 total yards, 100 yards passing, 2 picks, 40 rushing yards. Amazing. Love that. Loved everything about this. So thank you, Louisville. My bad for not knowing that you'd win 41-0 in a time that you lost 3 straight. That's on me.
I loved it as well. It was great to see because I know that Kentucky team, again, it's just they're tough out. NC State dominates North Carolina yet again. NC State has now won 8 of the last 10 against North Carolina.
Unreal.
And Dave Doran does what he
He's
does.
back.
What
And he's
y'all
back.
love him for.
Everyone announced he's back next year, so that's good.
Yeah. Domination.
Excited for that.
Notre Dame beat Stanford by 30, very similar to how Miami beat Stanford. Florida State, BC, Syracuse. We're on to next year.
Yeah.
Every one of those teams, we're on to next year.
Can we just, for one last time, Syracuse is 1-7 and beat
Unreal.
Clemson by 30 at home.
Unreal.
That's the one.
They did lose Angeli. That's
Unreal.
obviously the big factor, but it's
It
still
is. It is. It's crazy.
It's
And
crazy.
Florida State obliterated by Florida. So that was
This
dope.
sport is stupid, but we love
Super
it.
dope.
We love it so much.
Yeah. That should really strengthen Bama's strength of schedule too, probably.
You'd
Florida
think,
State
right?
losing by 21.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I think so.
Or
It's going to help
19 even.
Texas. They lost to a scrappy Florida team.
It's going to be fun. I can't wait. I don't know what we're going to do this week. Y'all just hang with us. Hopefully Duke will want to talk to us. It's not about y'all. I love y'all.
We'll do
Hopefully We'll
something.
talk to you. We'll do something. We'll talk to somebody. Hopefully, we'll see. Big games. Cannot wait. A lot of chaos. We'll see Tuesday. Is there any more clarity when it comes out?
With
Miami. Are they in now, or will they continue to need help? We will see. The magic number is 10 as of right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we appreciate you guys. Wouldn't want it any other chaotic way than what we've done all year long.
Or would we?
We're close. It's almost over. Appreciate you guys coming on this journey. Subscribe, jump in the comments, tell us if we're crazy, or if you're on the same path that we are. No matter who you root for, just think big picture. Let us know what you think. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you sometime later this week. Until next time, we'll see y'all.